There are still so many mysteries in the Black Clover series, and there are still so many mysteries in the Yo, what's up, everybody? Sorry, I accidentally played one of my old videos. I didn't. My desktop audio was still being picked up. That was actually a recording of me talking a few seconds ago. What's up, Dope? Scythe? Dope is first again, damn. Play Theorist. I haven't heard from you in a while. Why is it still going on? What is going on? Anyways. Bro, I was just wanting to go to sleep and... Oh, damn, you must be a different time zone then, huh? What's up, Sky Prison, MU Anims? How's everybody doing today? I thought I'd do a quick stream. I'm not gonna be streaming as long as normal, but it'll still probably be about an hour stream. What's up, Buzzard? Buzzard just did his first run through of the Seven Deadly Sins manga, and he really enjoyed it. I guess everybody in the chat, before I talk about how long I think it is, or how long Black Clover manga is gonna go on for, everybody put in the chat is how many chapters do you think we have left until Black Clover is done? I feel like it'll end about 2 years or something. I'm kind of in agreement there. Wondering about this for a while, Kahan. The end is near for BC? How near, though? Near, I think, is a relative term. Yeah, good stuff. Escanor Goat. 200 chapters? Okay. That would be nice. 150 maybe, yeah. 150. 70, 100 plus, 150. Okay. 80 to 90, 100 to 170. Yeah, what's up, Black Knight? Thanks for coming in. Got a member in here. I'm going to put a poll to start off. I was out of sleep, but it's 10 p.m. Damn. Around 70, I'd say. Damn, Buzzard. I think you lowered what you thought. Because I think we talked a few weeks ago and you said it'd be 100 to 150. Okay, now it's letting me do a poll. Does YouTube like limit you to how early in the stream you can do a poll? Alright. How many chapters left of Black Clover? I'll say 200 plus, 150 plus, 100 plus, and 100 or less. So I think it'll be one of these four. This is a wide range. I mean, technically, these numbers cover like every whole number, so it has to be within these ranges. Okay. I know it's a long shot, but I'm hoping that Black Clover makes it to the 500 to 700 chapter mark before it ends. I think that 500 is certainly possible. I don't see even 600, let alone 700. Because even if... I guess I'll talk about it now. I think a sequel is possible. I'll talk about that after. But, like... So... Black Clover has 3 parts now, which people call the sagas. You have part 1, which is what people call the Elf Saga, which is chapters 1 through 228. And then you have the Spade Saga, which is Saga 2, which is 2 arcs. And it's chapter 229 to 331. So that was 103 chapters. And then we have part 3 coming up, which only has, like, the 18th chapter just got leaked today. So we only have 18 chapters. And if the previous sagas or previous parts of Black Clover or any way of telling us of how long the final saga would be, I think that's where we have to look, right? Part 2 of Black Clover was 103 chapters. Part 1 of Black Clover was 228 chapters. So I think that it's likely that the part 3 of Black Clover is going to be within those. So it's going to be around 100 to 230 chapters. That's basically the range of what we have for the 2 parts so far. Real Baguette, yeah, I think Land of the Sun is its own arc, but it's within this saga. Like, a lot of people use arcs and sagas interchangeably, but they are different in this context. Like, the Seabed Temple was an arc in the Elf Saga, but it's not the Seabed Temple Saga, or part, or whatever. Black Clover is, like, in 3 parts, and we're in the 3rd part, the last part. But I think we're just within an arc of the first... We're in the first arc of the 3rd part, or the 3rd saga. So yeah, I think that if we just go based off of the previous parts, or the previous sagas, it's likely that we have at least 100 chapter saga for Black Clover. Which means that if it's at least 100 chapters, that means we're at 18 chapters in now. We're at 82 chapters left, which, if we get 1 chapter a week throughout the year, that's like over a year and a half. But because there's breaks from the magazine, breaks from Tabata, that's probably getting closer to 2 years at the low end. So that's why I think 100 chapters. But I think that the most likely range is 100 to 150 chapters. Because I also don't think that... Like, because some people were putting, like, lesser... I know some people I've seen that they think that Black Clover's only got, like, 30 chapters left. And I don't see why Tabata would need a whole 3-month, his own time skip to plot out the entire rest of the series of Black Clover. If it was only, like, a 50-chapter part, and only a 50-chapter made of, like, maybe 2 or 3 arcs. I don't think that 3 months would be needed for that. Especially since a fair amount of Black Clover should have been already outlined by then. Or even more than just a typical outline, like a more in-depth outline. So, that's why I think it's going to be at least 100 chapters, because that's barely less than part 2. But I think that it could be 150 chapters. I don't see going well past 150 or well past, like, 200. Some people are saying, not in the chat, but from other streams I've talked about, they think that Black Clover is going to be, the final part's going to be a 300 chapter saga, which I would love that, and I need that spiritually, but I don't think we're getting close to 300. I would say we'd be really lucky if we get 200 chapters, because that's a long part, and like already the longest part of Black Clover is only 230, so to get 300 would be wild. Final message, I'm iffy on the leaks. I don't like to give my opinion on the leaks until it's at least fan-lated, because it's really hard for me to give my opinion on something when it's just a few panels of something that you can barely see, and it's not even like fully been translated or edited. So I don't really have much of an opinion, but one of the things that's implied I don't really like, and I'll talk about in my review of the official chapter this Sunday. And I don't like to talk about the spoilers or the leaks until the official chapter is out. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. But, so yeah. And also, I'll see if I can find Tabata's statement and put it up on screen. But the way he worded, like, his return, it made me think that this final saga of Black Clover is going to be at least 100 chapters, if not more. So, here's the... I'll bring up the... This is a note from Tabata when Black Clover returned. So it says, "Dear readers, Black Clover has been absent for about 3 months. I'm happy to announce that the series is now resuming without any issues. The break went by in the blink of an eye, but we've been giving it 110% to ensure that the final arc will exceed your hopes and expectations." Now, to clarify, I've seen from a lot of people that arc or saga is interchangeable in Japanese. So just because it says final arc doesn't mean it's only going to be like one arc and not like an actual part like Black Clover's already been structured to be. But anyways, from here on, Austin and his friends will face even tougher challenges on his quest to become the Wizard King. So just based on this statement, the Austin and his friends will face even tougher challenges on his quest to become the Wizard King. That right there, that makes me think this final part of Black Clover has to be at least 100 chapters. And that's why I think the range can also be to 150 chapters. Because if Austin's going to have multiple challenges, his friends, the Black Bulls or whatever, you know, are going to have multiple challenges as well. I think that it has to be at least 100 chapters. And it's in line with the Spade Saga already being 103 chapters. Yo, what's up, Bloom Bob? Thanks for coming in. So, yeah. I think that Black Clover will be at least 100 to 150 chapters. I don't see it being, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, it's like 90 chapters, like, barely under 100. But if it's like 75 or less, I'll be very surprised and a little disappointed because I don't think that everything's going to be wrapped up very well. Like, it could still be a good ending and be a good saga, but I don't think that's nearly enough time. 100 at the bare minimum. I think that you could definitely do it 150 chapters. Yeah, the rate alone was 60. Well, actually, wasn't it? No, you're right. No, it was like 70, because the second arc of Black Clover, the second arc of the Spade Saga starts like 260 or whatever, and it goes to 330. That's like 70 chapters. Did you send for watching Trigon Senpai? I mean, you watch what you want. But, yeah, so I think it's going to be at least 100, 150 chapters. And now if we go off of that, if you just go off of, if a chapter was released every week in a year, there's 52 weeks in a year, that's 52 chapters a year. So, 100 chapters, that would be 2 years. It'd actually be even longer because of all the breaks that happen in the magazine, all the breaks that happen when, like, Tabata needs breaks. So it's, if it's 100 chapters, it's going to be over 2 years. If it's 150 chapters, it's going to be 3+ years. And now we say, like, when will Black Clover end? But the manga might be done, but we're still going to be getting the anime likely for after the manga's done, because the anime will likely finish when it comes back. And that means we might get filler that's canon, which is more Black Clover. We might get, like, expanding on scenes in the manga, that it's going to be more, like, original content for Black Clover. Kind of like what Bleach is doing for the anime, where it's, like, more canon than the manga, because the creator of Bleach was working with the anime staff to write his true vision, because he was rushed and not that good. Like, he was not healthy when he wrote the final saga. So we're going to be getting more Black Clover for at least 2 to 3 years, if not more. And maybe we'll get more movies or something. And then I still think that we'll get a Black Clover sequel. It'll be probably called or titled something different, but take place in the Black Clover world. Either it will be a spin-off or a like loose sequel or a spin-off sequel where it's in the same world and it's like 100 years in the future in a completely different like area, like country or whatever. So I think we'll be getting a lot more of in the Black Clover world. Like it'd be interesting if Tabata did a sequel series after Black Clover, and like let's say like for the first 100 chapters of that series, we don't even know it's in the Black Clover world, and then all of a sudden we see like a spell or an item or a character from the Black Clover world in that world too. Like that would be interesting. Like kind of like not Fairy Tail, Fire Force and Soul Eater. All right, so this is the poll results after 73 votes. The number one is people think there's 32% of you guys that think that it'll be 100+ chapters. The second place is 200+, which damn, but like I don't know how that's second place. Like I would love 200+ chapters, I just don't see it. And then third place is 150+ chapters, which is kind of where I'm at. I'm between 100 and 150, and then the least one is 100 or less, which I hope this is what happens, because I just don't think that this can be good. Like it could still be a good saga if it's less than 100 chapters, but I don't think it's gonna be better than the Elf Saga with less than 100 chapters to wrap. I don't think less than 100 is close enough to wrap the series up in a satisfying fashion. You think Black Clover will end in a year like Jujutsu Kaisen? So that means you think that Black Clover only has like 40 chapters left? I don't see how that's possible. Like, unless if Tabata is forced to end by the magazine, I don't see how 40 chapters is going to get it done. Like, we still have to have Yudo fight Lucius. We have the other paladins. We have the Holy War, Judgment Day. Like, I don't see how that can be done in 40 chapters. T. Greeny, I think we got about 100-ish chapters left max. If it was more, it would fall into the issue Naruto did, which is dragging on its final arc way too long. See, I don't... Like, I see what you mean. Well, for one, how long is that arc? Okay. I like how I Google how long is the last arc of Naruto, and the first 4 results from Google don't even come close to answering the question. Google is like, I feel like, has anybody noticed how like Google is like worse now? Yeah, I'm just looking up Naruto arcs and their chapter ranges. Okay, that's the anime. Jesus. Is it that much harder to look up for Naruto arcs than Black Clover? If I look at Black Clover, it's like the first thing that comes up. I get the result I want. Oh my god. Why is it so hard to look up Naruto arcs? And this gives me Naruto arcs, and then I have to go somewhere completely else for Shippuden arcs. And I specifically searched manga. Okay. There we go. Finally getting there. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not... I don't even care. Somebody says it's 200 chapters. Damn. Why is it so hard to fucking just Google how long an arc is? Like, if I do it for Black Clover, I can find it immediately. But Naruto, why is it so difficult? Goddamn. See, like, I get what you mean there. That, like, Black Clover or Naruto could drag, or was dragging in its final arc. But, if it's over 200 chapters, then I don't see why, like, 150 would make it drag. Because, like, 150 compared to 200 is a sizable decrease. It's like a 25% drop. So I think 150 still works. And I don't even think that it would drag per se if it's over 200, because I think that dragging depends on how it's written. 200 chapters out of 700. Because, like, if Tabata can write the Elf Saga, which is 228 chapters, and it didn't drag, then I think he could write a final saga that is 200 chapters and it doesn't drag. Because I think that what, for me, because I don't necessarily think that the War arc in Naruto dragged for me when I read it, but I think I can see, because it feels like one massive arc. Like if I compared the War arc to the Elf Saga, because they're both 200 plus chapters, right? The Elf Saga is like made up of 8 arcs. Whereas the War Saga of Naruto feels like it's just one 200 chapter arc. Whereas if Black Clover Part 3, if it's 150 or 200 chapters, if it's made up of a bunch of different arcs, I think that means it would be dragging less. Yeah, no. I get what you mean. I'm just saying that, like, I think I would agree if Black Clover Part 3 if it feels like one big arc rather than one saga with multiple arcs, I think it could drag. But Scythe, about Dante's black holes, please explain its power and scaling. Would really help in my debates. Maybe I'll get to that later. Yeah, Sleeping Danger. After the arc here, you watch the Royal Knights. Yeah, dude, Royal Knights is so good, and I really want to go back and watch the Black Clover anime. Andrea. Yo, Seth might be a personal question and maybe old news. But is it true you went to high school with Seth the programmer? I don't got Twitter, lol, so I just wanted to ask if it was true. Well, I mean, yeah, I did go to high school with him. But like, I don't get why you don't have Twitter. Because like that, I think he tweeted that like a while ago now. But yeah, him and I went to high school together. We had the same PE class together. Do you think we'll see Lucius show up in the movie? I believe he will be teased in the movie. But I don't think he'll have much of a role in the movie. He might be hinted at or teased. Because I don't think that... Because if we think about it from... The movie is going to have partially the anime audience in mind. And the anime audience... They don't know about Lucius if they haven't read the manga. So if they want to include Lucius without spoiling people, they might have to do it in a very implicit way where only manga readers know what's actually happening. I'm in college, Mr. Star. I actually just went back to school. I had my associate's degree. I completed it 4 years ago. Which that's just a 2-year degree. But I'm going back to school to get a different 2-year degree so that I can get a better 4-year degree, a bachelor's degree. So I'm in college. I'm not in a grade anymore. I guess, how can I explain Dante's black holes? Maybe we'll do that after we talk more about the saga stuff. But, so yeah, I think that we have several years of Black Clover, and I think that we will be getting a sequel, either if Hungry Joker takes place in the same universe, or if Tabata just does like a Four Knights of the Apocalypse or a Boruto type sequel. If he does do a sequel, though, I hope that it's not like Asta Noel's kid is the main character. So, do you think they'll scale Grey Deer Julius to current? I mean, Sleeping Danger, he pretty much has to be broken because, like, Julius scaling is pretty hard because of the craziness that's happened. But if you go off of the anime canon, Lola Petchka said that child Julius, like Julius who's a 13-year-old with one page of his grimoire, was so strong that he didn't need to train. And she said that in the same breath as Yami. Yami, who at that point was stated to have attained a whole higher plane of power. And that makes Yami stronger than Zagreus, which by proxy you could say that means that Julius is comparable to Yami because they said that Julius didn't need to train in the same breath as Yami. And if that means that 13 or 14-year-old Julius is stronger than Zagreus, that's wild. And even further, when Julius aged himself to be 23 or 24 years old to fight the Ancient Demon, his magic power was stated to be on the level of the Ancient Demon by Damnatio. And that Ancient Demon was so strong that not even Black Divider Asta, an Asta who was stronger than 80% Dante, he couldn't even negate that guy's spell. Well, Julius had the same magic power as him, so it should be that Julius, even as a captain, should be completely broken in the movie. And it'll be interesting for all the scaling implications that can happen from the movie. Obese Panda, Julius versus Patri, it makes sense now because it just means that Lucius was manipulating Julius to hold back or nerfing Julius. Oh, that'd be a good idea. Samurai Girl, if Tabata writes a prequel, should be a story of Yami's life. That'd be really cool. You'll hate it, Black Clover has a Boruto type sequel. Yeah, I don't want that. Like, I would prefer a Four Knights series where in Four Knights of the Apocalypse, it's a sequel to Seven Deadly Sins. The main character isn't related or wasn't in Seven Deadly Sins of the guy who's in Four Knights. He's just a brand new character. And then later in the series, they introduce the main characters from Seven Deadly Sins, their children, like Tristan and Lancelot into the story, but they're not there in the beginning and they're not the main character. Like, that would be way cooler if, like, say Tabata makes a brand new series called White Clover, and the main character is a commoner from a different continent, and his name is Larry. And Larry has no magic power. Like, he has low magic power and a terrible attribute, but he finds, like, a powerful magic item, blah, 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 blah. And then, let's say, like, we get, like, several arcs of, like, let's say we get, like, 3 or 4 arcs over 80 chapters of building this new continent and building this new character and this new cast of characters, and then somehow draw the connection to the Clover Kingdom and Black Clover with, like, Austin Noel's kid, Yuno and Charmy's kid, or even maybe Charmy and Rill if that's the ship that ends up happening. And yeah, like, don't introduce these characters immediately. Don't have them be the main characters, but it'd be cool. And I was just talking to Buzzard. He was in the chat earlier. What would be also really cool is if the sequel to Black Clover, it starts as a parallel to the start of Black Clover, where the main character of the sequel, they see Asta and Yuno statue. Like, Asta and Yuno are long dead. Their legends are done, and now the statues have been made of them, just like for Lumiere. Broku, do you think that the things that Hachika saw from Bogeyman actually happened? Because another anime recap channel said it could have been false. I forgot who said it, though. I don't see why it would be false, because it was the actual illusion of her father that gave her the memory. Percival, the future god of Nugent. I like Percival a lot. Lance already a menace, yeah. The author of Fire Force and Soul Eater did a good job of putting those two animes together. Yeah, they did. You disagree to what, Sky Prison? But, like, when I'm talking about these sequels for Black Clover, it really does depend on how Black Clover ends. Like, depending on the ending of Black Clover, a traditional sequel series could work. But the way that I think it might end, it might be good just to start with the new series and have it take far away from the Clover Kingdom and the characters we know. Psychic Main, that is not true. Psychic Main asked, didn't Tabata say himself that it would be as long as One Piece? No. I think that the closest statement to that is that he said he wished or hopes that Black Clover can go as long as Naruto. But I think that he wasn't saying that it's actually going to be. And it's likely not going to be, because I doubt that this final saga is going to be 370 chapters. From Solo, do you think the current captains will scale to the Paladins? I think they'll also new spells and transformation. Yeah, I mean, they will. Like, they're going to have to. A Yami prequel spinoff would be cool and works for a decent spinoff, yeah. I mean, because that could be cool. I don't know about it having, like, series potential to be its own, like, long-running series. Because how much can you do without contradicting stuff or whatever? And I don't know. It would be good. I think that it could be like a short series, like maybe a few volumes, or even like a light novel series. But I don't know about it being like a long-running series. Black Clover didn't sell well as Naruto did, so no. I mean, that could be part of it, but if we're going off of like Black Clover is way more profitable than its manga sales. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but Black Clover was the #1 anime in Japan for sales. It was the #1 anime for sales in Japan. Like, you might say its manga sales didn't do very good, but its anime sales was #1. No, I think that so we do have Yami's backstory to an extent, but I think seeing him like we could get what if we had an opening arc of Yami in the Land of the Sun, and then the next arc is Yami's entrance and or him like going to the Clover Kingdom, and he's kind of getting used to it. He's learning stuff. He meets Julius. The third arc is like him messing around with Noct and the shenanigans they get into. Then like the fourth arc could be him joining the Magic Knights and him doing missions with William. We actually do get a canon anime episode. I think it's actually 2 episodes of Yami and William. So it does have potential. I just don't know if it has the potential to be a long-running series, but I would love to see it either as a spin-off manga for a few volumes, or an anime, or a movie, or a light novel, or a light novel series. T. Greeny, I think 200 chapters might be pushing it for a Yami spin-off. I don't know. Like, I think a Yami, because I think My Hero Academia Vigilantes was like, what, 100 chapters or whatever? I think you could easily do that for Yami. Yeah, Sleeping Nature. Was it 85 and 86? I couldn't remember the episode numbers, but I actually watched them recently-ish. Yeah, Yami and William, their dynamic's interesting, and it would be I would like to see it expanded more upon. Yeah, extra user. I want to see the Black Clover world as well. That'd be wild. I want to see more of the Black Clover world. Like we've seen the continent that the Clover Kingdom's on, and we've seen Japan. We've seen the Land of the Sun, and that's it. Like, I mean, and Noct implies there's other continents, because unless if you classify Japan or the Land of the Sun as a continent, then there has to be another continent, right? Because Noct's like, oh, well then he must have Asta. I can't sense his shadow, so he has to be in a different dimension, dead, or on a different continent, or so far away, or whatever. So, thoughts on a sequel of Nash, maybe? That could be interesting. Yeah. I don't know if that has series potential, like, to be a long-running series, but I could see something like that. Maybe a short spin-off series or something. Scythe. I already explained to you the 4D construct in the Discord. What was the other question? Yeah, Charmy, she needs to be... She's going to get some revelations in the Land of the Sun. That's definitely got to happen. La Casa. Do I think that there are Mayan equivalents in Black Clover? Probably. What other content will you be doing after Black Clover is over? So... I'm actually going to be working on other, like, non-Black Clover stuff this year. Like, most of the first... Because I planned out what videos I'm doing for the first 3 months of the year. January, February, March. And almost all of them are Black Clover videos. But there is one video that is non-Black Clover. And then there's a couple videos that are Black Clover with other series. And then going beyond that, it's probably going to be like 60% Black Clover on my channel, and then 40% the other stuff. And then, but I mean, my goal is, like, I'm trying to make my own series. Like, I've been working on this light novel for a while, and I'm hoping that I get to like, release it to you guys this year. So like hopefully like by the time Black Clover's done, like I don't even like I do the YouTube channel for fun, and I'm actually like doing my own series, like writing my own light novel or novels. So that's what I'm hoping that Black Clover goes on, but then I'm hoping by then like I'm doing my own thing. But I'll always do YouTube because I like doing it. Okay, well, Scythe, if you want me to, what is your question? You keep saying 40 construct. What? You say 40 construct in Black Clover. What is your actual question? I think we will see the Earth Spirit Nova Blue Land. But I had a thought on my mind, and I completely forgot what it was. Does Black Clover have a 4D construct? I mean, this is the exact question I answered. You asked me this on my Discord. I said the Black Clover universe would be a 4D construct because it's a universe. It has space, it has time, so therefore it's likely a space-time, and Japan is on it. So it means it's either is a form of our world, or our Earth, or very similar to it, to the point where it should exist in a universal space-time continuum, making it a 4D construct. But, like, I don't know what else, because I don't know what else, like, how does that answer your question? I have seen the spoilers to leak. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a fair amount. Have you read any webtoons? I heard it's easier to get published on there. I have read a few. I actually did release 3 chapters of my own series on there. I had 2 chapters of the main series, and then 1 chapter for a prequel, because me and Arto de Burro entered the webtoon contest. And the issue is I can't draw. Like, when I talk about my own series, I'm talking about, like, I'm be writing it. Because I wrote the series. I wrote the series, and then I converted the novel into a comic script, and then he drew it based off the comic script. And then I have read Hardcore Leveling Warrior, a little bit of God of High School, a little bit of Tower of God. And actually, I've only read the first season of Hardcore Leveling Warrior. I started reading one, and it was really good, but I stopped reading it just to build up chapters so I could binge it at some point. It's a newer one. It's about dragons taking over the world. And then there's another one. The thing is that a lot of these webtoons I'm sure are really good, but I just get tired of the whole video game nature that they have. Like, there's this one I started reading, and I have read a few volumes of Solo Leveling. I have the first like 3 or 4 volumes, but I hate that every webtoon I read has to be like a video game. Like, I started reading one that was really, really good, and then it's like it's introducing video game mechanics into it. I'm like, okay, I don't want to read this. Like, can this just be a normal fantasy? So, if you're talking about my series, it's called 9 Fates. Yeah, it's on Webtoons. Webtoon. Yeah, I've like written several novels or light novels, but I have never really released them yet. Like this light novel that I wrote, I started writing it a year ago, and I finished the first draft like 10 months ago, and then I finished the second draft like 3 months ago, and I've been revising it to make the final draft, and then I'll release it. Koreans really like the OP Isekai premise. See, and Hardcore Leveling Warrior did it so well because the character starts off OP in the first chapter, then loses all of his shit. And it's interesting to see it, like, him growing it back, but... And then, like, that's, like, blatantly, like, a video game. Like, whereas... I still like Solo Leveling, despite his video game, like, power that the main character gets, but... I can't remember the other one I read. It's a newer one. It's the one who was made by the Omniscient Reader. His, like, or his or her new series. I started reading that, I'm like, shit, this is pretty dope. And then it introduces the video game mechanics. And I just completely lost interest. It completely, like, broke me out of the series, and I have not read it since. Webtoons are... A lot of webtoons are Korean comics or manhwa. And they're also just comics made on the internet. So, XD Anime, what's up? What's funny is it's so weird because sometimes I'll be on YouTube and I'll get recommended my own video. And this morning, I got recommended to watch my old video, which is I made Asta versus Deku like 5 years ago on my other channel, Broku 72. And I actually watched it. I'm like, it's so weird listening to me from 5 years ago. But man, I was a true visionary on the Asta versus Deku shit. Like, I remember at that time, before I made that video, nobody thought that Asta could win. And everybody said that either Asta was too weak or he had no scaling because of his anti-magic. But man, that was fun. And I still, I saw, like, on the video, somebody commented that Asta's only building level and subsonic speed. Because they say that Asta's building level because he can only split the Spade base in half and not destroy it. And he has never broken the sound barrier from moving. Which, like, being a YouTuber and, like, being a YouTuber talking about a lot of Black Clover power scaling, it's kind of funny. Because, like, you run into some of the wildest interpretations of power scaling ever. Like, there is fifth dimensional, like 5D Black Clover scaling, which it's not valid or sound or anything. There are, like, outerversal Black Clover metas, quote unquote. And do I think Asta and Nozel are related? I think it's possible. I don't really remember the basis of that video. That I made that like a while ago. But, like, I've seen such weird scaling for Black Clover. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's so funny, but it's, like, it's interesting to see how people interpret things. Because power scaling is a mixture of interpretation and, like, objectivity. Like, for some verses, a character will do something and somebody will do the same thing in a different verse, but they'll look at that as a lesser feat or that it's not valid or whatever. Or some people will allow multipliers for one verse but won't allow them for the other verse and shit like that. Would you ever debate Black Clover with other power scale YouTubers? Lakasa, yeah. I mean, I have. Over a year ago, I debated Quan Credible on Devil Unit Asta versus Yami. And at some point soon, Rax and I are going to be discussing Doom from Marshall versus Lucifero from Black Clover. I mean, I have a lot of people that say they want to debate and then they don't. Or some people will debate me, but they don't want to be on stream. Yeah, I don't mind debating power scalers or whatever. But, like, it has to be, like, I don't really debate stuff unless if it's something I agree on. Because a lot of people will debate based on Devil's Advocate, but I think that's just a waste of time for me, honestly. The video where Broku said that Asta could get Star Magic ended up being, you know, hey, well, that video is still super valid, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it is funny it is really funny that end up getting Star Magic like a few months after that video. Actually, that wasn't a few months. That was like a year. Damn, that video is old as hell. But well, damn, I just lost my train. Oh yeah, sorry guys, I'm really tired. I was up all night studying. I have 2 exams next week, so anyway. I still think that video is valid, because I think it's going to end up being revealed that anti-magic is related to black holes. And technically I'll be correct, because a black hole is a dead star. So people can stop making fun of me when it's revealed that the anti-magic is black hole related. Rax thinks that Black Clover has no attack potency. I mean, I think you are misrepresenting what he is saying. I just don't think he's consistent with what he says. But like I said, him and I are going to be discussing it, hopefully soon. We were going to do it like last week, but then he wanted to wait for Doom. Because Doom is in the middle of a fight right now. So he wanted to wait until Doom shows more stuff. But yeah, power scaling is just interesting. Like you can just like make shit up and then very loosely correlate it to something else or relate it to something else in the series as like evidence of backing, and people will believe it. Like, I have discussed people before. Like, there are some times where I would mess with people on my Discord, and it's like a very innocent way, where I just make up a meta of Black Clover and they believe it. Partly it's probably because they just believe that because I said it. Because some people will do that. They'll just take everything I say and believe it to be 100% true. Which I am right on a lot of things, but I have been wrong before. Honestly, never mind. I mean, that's self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into that. But, like, I was thinking, like, what fucking wild meta could I make up on the spot for Black Clover to make it super fucking broken that actually has at least a shred of evidence? And I came up with the multiversal Black Clover meta in my head the other day. I think I was doing cardio, and I was just bored. Didn't know what to watch, so I just started listening to music, and I'm like, what can make Black Clover multiversal? And I just started making shit up, but actually giving at least some support for it. Now, this is a meta that I 100% do not believe, so don't like think that I'm actually arguing that Black Clover is multiversal. But if you ever want a meme or just have some fun, here's the Black Clover multiversal meta. I'm gonna grab... Why are so many people liking this tweet? It's like 6 people today have liked the tweet from Seth the Program. This is 2 years ago now. Seth tweeted 2 years ago that him and I went to the same high school. And people still like... it's so weird. Like, it's such a weird tweet to like this late. Like, it's so old. But, let's get to the multiversal meta. Again, this is not sound logic, but it was just to show you that, like, people will come up with the weirdest shit. And if there's a shred of evidence for it, they'll believe it. And, hell, I get a lot of comments. I get people stating stuff where there's literally no evidence for it, and they still believe it. So, this is arguably more sound than a lot of comments I see. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this is power scaling. These are fictional characters. This is not, like, anything that's really that important to the world, but let me find a couple panels and images. Yeah, because it's a wacky argument, but it's kind of funny. Like, I can see, like, me arguing this and actually getting people to believe it. Even though there's, like, no sound logic for it. Alright. I just need to get the proper chapters. Because it is kind of funny. Multiversal Black Clover. Hell, it probably will happen one day if Lucius merges the living world and the underworld together, like how Yuhabak wanted to do in Bleach, then that's multiversal Lucius right there. But here's my logic. And this is a joke. So don't believe this multiversal not Naruto. Multiversal Black Clover stuff. But let's get into it. In Black Clover, Rill got inspired by Noelle and her Valkyrie. And he drew Twilight Valhalla, and then he drew Odin himself. Now, this spell is not called Odin or anything, but it's called Master of Valhalla, or Lord of Valhalla, depending on the translation, or King of Valhalla. I've even seen King of Valhalla. So Master, Lord, King of Valhalla. In Norse mythology, that's Odin. And this looks like Odin. He has, one eye. That's the traditional, even though this is incorrect imagery, this is, a lot of art, how they drew the Norse gods or even Vikings back in the day, like this winged stuff. Because it was, I believe it was, Romanized, the Viking stuff. It was, Romanized. And even this, to me, this looks like Mimir's head. That, if you guys have played God of War, you know how Kratos has the head? In Norse mythology, Odin's supposed to have the head. So that looks like Mimir's head to me. Right there, that looks like a beard and 2 eyes and a nose that he has on his hip. It could be just his fur right here, but I've always seen this as Mimir's head. We'll have to wait for the anime, I guess. But this is definitely Odin. There's just no way around it. He's the Lord of Valhalla in Norse mythology. He created it. Now, the crazy thing with if he drew Odin and drew Valhalla, how strong is this? And this would mean he would have to draw them and have a knowledge, right, of what these characters are. Now, let me get to it. I need to find the image. It's in a different chapter. I believe it's 246. It's when Dante reveals the Tree of Qliphoth. Okay, so that. All right, this is the wild shit. Okay. So this is the Tree of Qliphoth. The funny thing is this is an image that exists in our world. Like pixel for pixel. You look at the Wikipedia for the Tree of Qliphoth, this is in there. This is the same exact image just in Black Clover. This was made by Robert Flood. And now the interesting way we can extrapolate this is that in Black Clover, Japan is a country. It's the same exact geography with the same provinces. Honshu is a province in Japan, or a city, or a region. I can't remember which one. But that's also how it is in the Land of the Sun. They have the similar tradition, garb, and all of that. And I'm going to find the chapter that at least shows that the Land of the Sun looks like Japan. Yeah. So, oh, you can't really see it. Oh, you can kind of see it. This looks like Japan. Land of the Sun. So this is Japan. Well, the reason for this is because it's likely that the Black Clover world takes place in the same world as Hungry Joker. Because, I'm not going to be able to find this, but I have shown it before in videos. But in Hungry Joker, Gildray's in it. And when somebody asked him the Black Clover Questions Brigade, is that Gildray in Hungry Joker? And Tabata just said yes. Tabata just says that yes, that's Gildray. So Gildray is literally in Hungry Joker, which would mean that because Hungry Joker is a manga that takes place in our modern day Earth, where like New York City is in it, the Statue of Liberty and all that shit, and Gildra is in both series. That means that because also Japan is in Black Clover, that they're in the same world, which means that if they're in the same worlds, that means they have our same religions and mythology. And this is supported by Dante having a literal image that exists in our world. And he has that to show the Tree of Qliphoth. And then, if you extrapolate further, if Rill got inspiration from Noel's Valkyrie to draw Valhalla, and Valhalla does the same exact stuff as Valhalla in the myths, because in the myths, Valhalla is a realm, and in Valhalla, and remember the spell is called Twilight Valhalla, in Valhalla, in Norse mythology, during Valhalla's twilight, which is, I think it's either dusk or dawn, or both, I can't remember exactly, but in Valhalla's twilight in Norse mythology, all of Valhalla's soldiers, which are called Einarjar, they become stronger, and they can't be killed. Which is exactly what Rill's spell does. When they're in Twilight's Valhalla, the spell is called Twilight Valhalla, all of Rill's allies cannot die, and they become stronger. So, if Rill is just ripping Valhalla's Twilight from Norse mythology, because remember, Norse mythology exists in Black Clover, that means he's also ripping Odin from Norse mythology. And what did Odin do in Norse mythology? What did he do? So this is Odin. These are his brothers, Vili and Ve. They fought Ymir, which is the first Jotun. The first giant, but he's really a Jotun. A Jotun, now this isn't really shown here, but in the myths of the Norse men, Ymir is an infinite-sized being. And not only that, but after Odin kills them, now, it is stated that he kills them with his brothers, but it's consistent that in Norse mythology, he was the one who did most of the work, or the highest percentage of the reason for how they won. But after they kill Ymir, Odin takes Ymir's body and creates all of the 9 realms with it. Now, it's actually 7, because 2 of the realms existed before Odin did this. So Odin created 7 different universes and their space times, because Odin is the guy who created time for all these universes. So Odin created 7 universes, which puts this puts Odin, the spell that Rel drew, at it's technically low multiversal. But it gets even crazier than that, because in Norse mythology, I think it's in Asgard, there are thousands, if not thousands, the countless of halls, which are essentially, they're called halls, but they're really like realms for the gods. And in some myths, these are infinite-sized time spaces. And there are thousands to countless, which means that this makes Odin multiversal to multiversal plus. And Rill created Odin. So there's my multiversal Rill or multiversal Black Clover argument. It's not very sound because you can pick holes at it. But like, this is what I'm saying, when like people can take nothing and make something out of it, or they can take something very little and have just really interesting power scaling takes. But yeah, so like, I literally just was so bored one day doing cardio that I made up a multiversal Black Clover argument. And really, if you do look at it, there is evidence for it. I would say there's more evidence than not that Black Clover is the same world as Hungry Joker. And then that means that the religions and mythology of our world exist in Black Clover. And Rill drew that shit. So, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't use that seriously, but I think it's funny. Literally multiversal Black Clover. Multiversal Rill. And Rill's like fodder, so it's kind of funny. But I'm interested to see what you guys think, though, because I am working on a video. Still, it was scaled nowhere because there's no context of it. What do you mean there's no context? I just gave you the context. It's not valid. Like, you could debunk it, but there, like, it would, like, Odin drew I mean, real Drew Odin, who got bodied by Magicula. That means Magicula's multiversal. Like, that's the context. And really could draw it. So, it doesn't work. Like, it's not very valid or sound. Like, it's a valid argument. It's not sound, though. Welcome to Broku's TED Talk, yeah. That'll be a funny clip to put on the clip channel. But yeah. So, like, it's just, as a YouTuber or a content creator, and I talk about power scaling, I get so many comments. So it's just funny to see the interesting things that people come up with. Like, I still see people saying that people, or not saying, but people they question, they think that Asta, like Devil Yun and Asta, would lose to Pottery that fought Asta in the cave. I still see that. People ask that. People see that. People make the claim. Doom versus Lucifero win. Well, Rax and I think we were going to do it last week, but then I think he wanted to do it and wait till Doom gets more powers, because he's in this fight. XD Anime, it's not showing the join button by your name to become a member. Is there any other way? That's the only way I know. I don't know if you're on mobile or on your computer, but it should just say join. Damn, that sucks. It's just a spell. Don't you think it's a bit of an exaggeration to say that Real created Odin? I mean, that's part of the ways you could debunk it, but like I'm saying, it's not a sound scaling. I'm just saying that people will take something and then make something out of it, like what I just did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I said many times that this is not me saying this is actually true. Okay, alright, it depends on which Superman, honestly. How do we know that AP works with his paintings? Because he has to use his magic power to make the paintings. Ostra's headband beats Pottery. That's funny. Zenon is stronger than Dante when Zenon becomes a Devil Scythe. Asta versus Naruto. Hey, well, I'm actually working on a video. It is the Black Bulls versus Pain from Naruto. The Path of Pain. And it's actually collab with Spinner. He was on the channel last week. And a little bit of a delay. There's been a storm in his area and his Wi-Fi's been down, so we haven't been able to finish recording it, but it should come out Friday or Saturday. And the video is, could Pain steal Asta's devil? Like how Pain tried to steal the Ninetales. Many people think Black Clover's only country level. Yeah. I mean, I've seen that most people on TikTok think that Black Clover is still only country level. Which I don't get it. Asta, well, to clarify, it's the Witch's Forest Black Bulls. So, it's the much weaker versions of the Black Bulls. And, no Nox, Sekre, Zora, Henry. So, it's actually a very close fight. Because it's the Witch's Forest Black Bulls. We both agree that if we use the current Black Bulls, or even a current notable Black Bull, they would sell though. But it is the Black Bulls from the Witch's Forest. Well, Power Scallop, I actually wouldn't use that to justify a universal Black Clover because it's too assumptuous and not super supported. But I am making a whole video on it. I've been working on it a little bit by bit, a little bit each week. That video is probably not going to be out until after the Black Clover movie, so it's over 2 months away. But part of me wants to wait to see if the Black Clover movie has any crazy feats in it, or talks about the cosmology of the Black Clover world at all. What does Austin need to do to get to multiverse level? So, multiverse level, because there's low multiversal, there's multiversal, and there's multiversal plus. Low multiversal is you can destroy 2 to 1,000 universal spacetimes. Multiversal is you can destroy 1,001 universal spacetimes or higher, and then multiversal plus is I think you can you can destroy an infinite amount of universal spacetimes. So, in order for Austin to become multiversal, he needed to either destroy 1,001 universal spacetimes or more, or can scale to somebody who does that. So if Lucius, like let's say that the Black Clover world has, let's say it has the living world, the universe they live in, and the underworld, that's 2 universes. Let's say that each of them has 10,000 timelines, because he saw 10,000 futures. So that would be 20,000 timelines. Let's say he like either merged them all or destroyed them all, except for one. That would make him multiversal. And then if Asta damaged him, that would make Asta multiversal. Lacasso, who do you think the strongest person Spade Madnet can honestly beat? Probably the Spade Captain. Yeah, but I just realized, so this is going to be a shorter stream today. I was only going to stream for an hour. We're a little bit past, but yeah, I got a lot of homework to do. I got to edit the videos still. Black Clover's deepest rabbit hole. That is going to be insane, guys. Probably my best theory ever. Maybe better than Lucius. Julius being Lucius. So that'll be next week. Friday or Saturday of this week is the Black Bulls versus Pain, and the next week will be Black Clover's deepest rabbit hole, and I'm so excited for that. Like, it's gonna be a long ass video because I think it's gonna be like 45 minutes long, but yeah. Thanks for coming in, guys. Thanks for all the support. I'm probably not gonna be able to stream on Friday. There's a chance I can, but it's likely not. If the Pain versus Black Bulls video uploads on Friday, I will not stream. If it uploads on Saturday, I will stream. But then I'll definitely be streaming on Sunday. Wait, when we get the solar system scaling? Well, that's like kind of a part of it. I actually went over it when I talked about it a few weeks ago, but Black Clover Iceberg's topic. I mean, that's actually a planned collab with other YouTubers that we've been talking about, but that's probably a ways out. But thanks, guys, for coming in. And I will see you guys Friday, maybe, for the stream. If not, I'll see you Saturday for the video, because I'll probably be in there when it premieres. And then I'll see you on Sunday when I stream my review of the Black Clover chapter. So thanks for coming in, y'all, and have a good one. Peace out.